Attention, lifeboat launching. The assembly siren is about to sound and crew will be arriving. Please allow clear access.
How far they are from the lifeboat station, but 5 minutes is certainly an achievable launch. First, member of the crew arriving at the lifeboat station will unlock the door, and the lifeboat deputy launching authority will speak to the helm and advise them as to what the call is. So the first helm through the door then picks their crew. Usually it's the first crew through the door, but if it's windy and challenging conditions, you might pick a more experienced crew, or certainly if there's a casualty, as in somebody's injured, you take a casualty carer with you. So it's up to the helm to pick their crew. It's up to the helm if they feel that it's safe to launch. Our normal operating parameters are up to force 8 in the day and force 6 at night, although because we're in a sheltered location here, you can launch in higher winds. It all depends on where we're going and what we're being asked to do. So as you can see, they're preparing the boat to launch. So the electric's being switched on, the chock's being removed from the trailer. The mast, the A-frame mast is already
so he's going to drive and
handheld radios being placed on board, and the crew are being briefed. So the shore crew there, you can see they're getting positioned at the rear of the trailer, the drive-on, drive-off trailer, the Dodo, and that's because they will turn on the taps for the water, which allows us to start the engines on land. What this does is it gives us reassurance that the engines are up and running before we hit the water, and also allows them to warm up slightly before we go and launch the lifeboat. So the lifeboat's called the Mary Liddington. She's an Atlantic 85, just about 8.5 metres long, that's why she's an 85. And with a crew of 4, so at the front you've got Simon on the helm, and then behind him, on the right hand side, starboard side, is the radio operator, radar, and then navigator on the left, and then in the rear is Norman Nomate, so Norman Nomate is a crew member, because they just have an intercom, they've got no instrumentation to look at. So they're just radio checking the launch point, the chap in the orange jacket, he controls the launch. Once everybody's happy, he hands over control to the helm, who then talks to the tractor driver so that they're ready to go. The tractor's a county tractor, very old, it's T-Reg, but it's in a purpose-built waterproof case. And a fantastic piece of kit. It may be old, but it's very reliable and very capable. So water's now on, hands are up, start the engines, started, and very shortly the helm will be giving the command. It's a high water launcher, so very, very little beach to cover. The launch. Lifeboat's now floating just about, there we are, it's floating, they've thrown away the lines that hold them in, and the helm goes ahead on the throttles on the twin engines, and then landing off to pick up the rescue. So we're just called into the Coast Guard on channel 16, the half and crew is using the boat. Channel 0, which is our search and rescue channel, which is on the so we've been told there is a rescue today. So we wouldn't normally be doing high-speed turns like this, just giving a demonstration of the boat's capabilities. It's a very stable boat. It's got a deep V, it's a rigid inflatable boat, so the hull is rigid, and then you've got the inflatable sponsons on the side, so effectively the boat is one big fender, which is very heavy. Can't sink, and powered by 250 horsepower, 1.5 horsepower
a normal job, and then the phone goes off.
Very stable at the turn, and an excellent boat for the waters that we're in at the moment. So it's the second fastest lifeboat in the fleet, the fastest being the E-Class on the Thames. And it's the third in the Atlantic class. So the first Atlantic was Atlantic 21, 1 foot long, with helmet metric, and the Atlantic, 75.5 metres long. That had twin 75 horsepower, two-stroke engines on that, much noisier than this one. But it was an excellent lifeboat, and we had one here for many years called Blue Peter 2. And then 14 years ago, in 2010, we received it at Mary Liddington. It's one of two boats supplied by the Liddington family through a very, very generous donation. The boat itself, at the time of it being built, cost £180,000. That's just the boat, not the carriage. And it's specially built by the RNLI for the RNLI. And I'll go into its capabilities in a bit more detail in a little bit. So the scenario is, there's an old lifeboat called the JW Archer, which is what's in the last lifeboat, and it's making a passage from Penryn Dock to Llandudno, and he's experiencing engine problems. You might see that lifeboat just off the pier there, moving from right to left, from west to east, and he's got engine problems. It's highly likely, having the ability to look into the future, highly likely that he's going to break down and will need towing. So it won't surprise you that something like 70% of our call-outs here are due to mechanical failure. So there's other lifeboat stations like Marlborough. Yesterday I think I dealt with 3 paddle boards that were blown out to sea. We don't tend to get those sort of straps much. We do get rid of equipment failure. So usually breakdowns, people have maintained their boats properly, or just drive over lobster pots and get kind of tangled in the lobster pot. So we get called out to a lot of breakdowns, and to do that, ideally we want to try and get the vessel going again. It doesn't happen very often. Usually the best way to get them to safety is to tow them. Now, we are not a waterboard AARAC or green flag service, so please don't see us that way. We will only tow a boat if that's the best way to